So the other symptom of Mashiach, before Mashiach comes, the mess that was created by eating from the tree of knowledge has to be cleaned up. What was the mess? In every evil there is some good, and in every good there is some evil. That's the tree of knowledge. The cholent, the stew of good and evil mixed together. And that's confusing, and that's hard to deal with. Before Mashiach comes, the good and the evil will separate. The good will be pure good, the evil will be pure evil. You want to see Mashiach coming with your own eyes? Watch the news. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to see evil that you're not going to believe. In people you least expected. And that might be scary and confusing, but it's good news. The evil is not hiding anymore. It doesn't even claim to be good. It makes no attempt at justifying itself. It's pure evil. Well, as shocking as that is, it means that the evil is finished. Because without the little bit of good, it can't exist at all. It's like a lie that has no kernel of truth behind it. That lie will never take off. It has no life. It's a virus. It has no life. If it can't siphon a little life off of the truth and off of the holy, it just dries up and dies. So watch this happening in front of your eyes. You're going to see it. In the news, evil can no longer hide and good can no longer be concealed. That's Mashiach. And it is happening. It's happening. Pay attention. The world is moving in a very good direction. It always has been. Since creation, it's been moving in a good direction. But it was so concealed, so mysterious. Now, you're going to see it with your own eyes. Now it's there for everyone to watch. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. We're moving into a much better world. And the wish, the hope is that we all did a little something to contribute to that goodness. Don't just watch it happen. Do something to make it happen. And what does it take to make it happen? A tiny micro mitzvah. That's all it takes. So look around. Who needs you? Who needs you to encourage them? Who needs you to inspire them, to give them a little optimism? Who will thrive on a little attention from you? Who needs some advice from you? It doesn't have to be dramatic. God gave us this incredible gift called the internet. You've heard about it? It's amazing. A half a year ago, we were convinced that this is the most evil thing that ever hit the earth. And it's going to destroy us all. Internet, disgusting. It has redeemed itself. Every rabbi, every teacher, everyone who thinks they have anything to say is sharing it online. This has become the biggest yeshiva ever. So it's so easy to do this micro mitzvah. Let's do it. And then watch as our tiny little mitzvah puts the finishing touches to the universe, and the world becomes what God intended for it to be. This is the most dramatic moment in history, and we're here to see it. Think positive. It's the only way to go. Watch positive thing happen. Don't be impressed with the apparent evil that is coming out everywhere. It's when the evil comes out in the open, it's like the evil is committing suicide. It's killing itself.
Baruch Hashem.
Wow.
Finally, huh?
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Rabbi Manis, that was really some extraordinary, eye-opening, eye-popping presentation over there. We got some questions coming in over here. And again, if anybody would like to ask a question next couple minutes, please do so. You can either post it here, you can text it to me, or you can ask it to Rabbi Manis on the Zoom call. Julia is asking a question. Rabbi Manis, if God controls all, is he creating the evil in the world?
Of course. Who else can make such a mess? What, the devil? God created the devil too. So yes, of course it's God. But God warned us right from the beginning. You know, there was no misunderstanding here. God said, I need you to clean up the biggest mess in all of existence, because this is the lowest of all possible worlds. And it's this world that God wants to dwell in. So there was no surprise. We were a little surprised by how ugly, but we were told it's an ugly world. Clean it up. And it's to our credit that, as shocking as the evil turned out to be, we got over the shock, like after the Holocaust. After the Holocaust, people were convinced that the job is beyond us. Sorry. You know, we thought the world was a pretty decent place. You got to clean it up a little, you know, like a messy kitchen. But this kind of a world? No, this can't be cleaned up. And so people felt like, no, I'm not bringing kids into this world. It's unredeemable. It's beyond repair. And for a generation, we were kind of knocked out. Generation later, we said, you know what? Let's clean it up. You can clean up a world that includes a Holocaust? Yes, because the good is still more powerful than the evil. So the more darkness we see, the more we realize light is good. The more death we see, the more we realize, you know, life is pretty good. We're not intimidated. We've seen it all. And we now know we can clean up anything. Because darkness, after all, is just an absence of light. Don't be intimidated by it. The good will prevail. We would like to be the creators of good. So yes, God created all sorts of worlds, the holiest of the holy and the lowest of the low. Then he tells us to clean it up.
So what happens, Ramanis, when we do the right thing? You said we make God cry. When we do even the most minute mitzvah, a little virus mitzvah, you said we make God cry. But what happens when we don't get that message? What happens when we're still living in the golus, the exile mentality, and we keep on messing up? What happens to those of us that aren't conscious yet, that aren't experiencing the now?
That's why we have an internet. You got to reach everybody. People who don't come to lectures, they don't go to yeshiva, they're not going to come to shul, they're not going to come to the Chabad house, but they're surfing the net. And they come across somebody who tells them the truth. And intuitively, it's like, oh, right. And they get all inspired and they start to make the world better. That's our job. That's our job. This negativity, by the way, every pain is punishment for sin. This is not Jewish, this is Christian. And even the Christians don't buy it anymore. So we've got to get rid of this. This is like stuff we picked up along the way, thinking it's Judaism. It is not Judaism. In fact, we use the expression, God is brought to tears of nachas and pleasure. Do we mean that literally? Yes. Yes. God is not a perfect little statue with no feelings, no needs, no pain, no pleasure. That is not Jewish either. That God is too perfect to bother or be bothered, that's not Jewish. That's not written anywhere in the Torah. That's another religion. The Torah tells us right from the beginning. Why did God choose Noach to be the one to be saved from the flood? Because Noach found favor in God's eye. Is that a little too human to attribute to God? No. We have a little bit of godliness, so we also have feelings. But he has the real thing. We're just a copy. So if we have feelings, if we have sentiment, if we can cry from good news, certainly he can. So his tears are real, more real than ours, not less. So you see how we've lost the Jewish original concept? Because we've been in exile too long, exposed to too many other ways of thinking that we kind of felt we had to compete with. But now we can go back to the original Jewish idea. Yes, God cries. He's at least as sensitive as you are. So it brought the Baal Shem Tov to tears when he saw the sincerity of the simple Jew. If a human being can cry over beautiful things, God can certainly, infinitely more. So let's not discount God's investment in us, his obsession with us, and the fact that he chose well. He picked the right people. He has no regrets. On the contrary, he's very proud, as he should be.
Rabbi Manis, you mentioned some very powerful points about life and death. And there are a lot of people on this Zoom room right now that have recently, and not so recently, experienced very, very painful loss of their loved ones. Corey recently lost her son in a very tragic episode. And I wanted to hear if how people felt about that. How did you feel about this idea of death not being the end of anything, but just the other than the end of a contract? If
I have to say, if I might answer, this is Corey. It was so very comforting to hear that. It really was. I've heard it phrased in other ways similar to that, but the way Manis Friedman, Rabbi Friedman, the way you expressed it, really, I mean, it brought me to tears. Obviously, it doesn't take much anymore, but I felt so very comforted by those words, very much, and it really sort of changes my outlook on the whole experience of where my son is. So I thank you so much for that. And not only that, but I just loved what you said about the past 2,000 years. The Jews have been suffering and through so much pain and persecution, and yet here we are today trying still to improve and mitzvahs and keep the Torah. I think it was just beautiful. It also brought me to tears. Thank you so much. It was a beautiful talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. I would just like to say that your thoughts that you just shared with me, Corey, I'm hearing from quite a few different people that are texting me right now too, more than I can process, that I can speak about right now. But I do want to just ask Edie. Is Edie still there? I know she's having some connection issues.
She's working.
Edie, there you are. Edie, we see you. Can you hear me, Edie? One second, hold on, Edie. 1 second, hold on, I gotta unmute you. Hold on.
Can you hear me
Yeah, we
now?
can hear you now. Edie and Mark sponsored tonight's presentation in memory of her father. Edie, if you could share your comments and thoughts.
No, I think what Rabbi Friedman said about that also comforted me, not just my father. Oh, go off. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, okay, because I don't see you anymore. Okay. And thank you, Rabbi, for that too. I just want to say my father, a very lucky person, my sister, he was a great father. He was a World War II vet. He was a good Jew. He went to Minyan every morning. I'm just very thankful and very lucky that he raised me, my brother, and my parents were together, and I'm glad to do it. And that's what I have to say, if y'all can hear me. And thank you again.
Edie, thank you very, very much.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we heard that. We got that, Edie. Thank you very much for your thoughts and comments over there. I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation. And once again, it was difficult to hear every word that you said, only because of your connection out there in Virginia somewhere. But I'm glad that you were able to dedicate this Torah session to your father's aliyah, sanashama, the elevation of his soul. Like Rabbi Manis said, that this is the internet has become the world's largest yeshiva. We're all going to yeshiva, people that wouldn't set foot in a shul, wouldn't set foot in a Torah class, but here they are, and they're coming together to study Torah. Millions and millions of Jews around the world coming together as one. So I just want to say, it looks like Warren is trying to say something. Warren, are you trying to say something? No, not? Okay. So I just want to say thank you to you, Reb Manis, for taking the time.
Let me share a story with you.
Oh, okay.
I was invited to speak in Mexico. They picked me up at the airport, and we have a long, torturous drive into town. The traffic is unbelievable. And during the drive, the guy says to me, we're taking you straight to the hotel room so you can rest up. But waiting for you at the hotel is a young couple who just lost their child, and they're very distraught and very depressed, and they quit on everything and dropped out of everything, and they need to talk to you. Not a pleasant prospect, right? Anyway, to make a long story short, I meet with this couple, the most delightful people. And they tell me the story, a 6-year-old little girl died from an aneurysm, like within minutes. And they weren't home when it happened. The parents were not home. He used to put on tefillin every day. He used to keep Shabbos. They were a practicing traditional family. They gave it all up. They're angry at God. They can't understand why he would do this to them, etc., etc. Then they show me a picture of their little girl. I mean, if you've ever seen a living angel, it was really, really painful. They had already spoken to every rabbi. They didn't want to hear anymore. They weren't open to anything anymore. They didn't want to be comforted. They were done. So I had to say something different to open up the conversation, at least. So I asked the father, has your daughter visited you yet? He said, ooh, nobody asked me that. I said, has she visited you? He says, twice. I said, and what did she tell you? He says, she didn't say anything. She just showed up smiling as if she's letting me know that she's okay. So I said, she did that twice. Why? Twice she needs to let you know she's okay? I said, you know what she's really trying to tell you? She's trying to tell you that she's happy and you're ruining it for her because she feels really guilty that she is making you miserable. Why are you doing that to your daughter? Stop. Be a good father. Don't do that to her. His eyes opened up and he said, okay, should I put on the tefillin now or wait till I get home? You see, what happened that really destroyed them is not the grief. It's that they stopped being her parents. They became grievers. They forgot this is her daughter. This is his daughter. What are you doing to her? So she comes to you and says, I'm trying to be happy here. You're not helping. I'm making you miserable. You don't stop being a father. You don't stop being a mother. Like you said, your father was a good man. In other words, he's still your father. He didn't become some angel. He's your father. And he's sitting somewhere, wherever it is. That means he's not your father? He's still your father. He still depends on you to give him nachas, which is the only thing he ever wanted anyway. And he still wants it. And your child is still your child. And you're still the mother. Well, wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what does a mother do for a child? And do it. If you stop being a mother, then you're not grieving. You're just fading away. So don't become a griever. Maintain your relationship.
Wow, thank you. Wow.
Wow, that's definitely
Wow.
something to take us to the next level. Corey, how do you feel about that?
Wow. Wow. Although Michael has not come to me, but I have been told in the past that if you're grieving, if you keep grieving and crying, he's going to feel bad and feel guilty about your tears and your grieving. And it doesn't allow him to move on. So
You see this? You see that nothing changes when they die. Little girls express themselves better than little boys. It's the same thing.
That's true.
Amazing. It's like, that's exactly what he would do. That's what he would do if he was alive.
Already? You know, it's like, why doesn't he come to me already? Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Do
Thank
they,
you. Go ahead.
maybe if somebody doesn't come to you, maybe you're not ready to receive it. It could be too much. I don't know. Rabbi, what do you think?
It's pretty common,
Yeah.
not every day, but it is common that the soul wants to communicate with the closest family members, but they can't get it directly. So they go to a friend
Mm,
and ask the friend to give the message. And
Actually, he goes to my daughter. He
there
goes
you
to
go.
my sister.
right.
That's exactly what he would do when he was alive.
That's exactly.
Nothing changes.
It's
Nothing
I had an interesting experience after my mother died. I felt as if, and it was like just when I was lying in bed, I felt as if my mother was trying to get into my body. And my mother was a warrior, and I didn't want to be a warrior. And so when she attempted, and physically I felt it, I just like sat up and I said, this is not something I really want. I love you. You were a wonderful mother, but I don't want your worrying. And it went away. And after that, I never really was a worrier again. It was very interesting.
How soon after she passed away?
I don't, it was 25 years ago. Shortly after she passed away, within a month, I would say it was in the first month that she passed away.
So that's before she even left.
Yeah.
She hadn't completely left.
No, I know. Doesn't it take, is it 30 days?
At least 30 days, up to a year.
Right. I've had many, many interesting experiences with my dad who passed away. He died, my mother died first, my dad died second, which we were surprised, but that's the way it happened. And after she died, I said, Dad, you have to tell me, because I always felt the connection. I knew that you don't die. I know your soul will die. I just knew it. I didn't have to study it. It was just part of me, part of a memory from before or whatever. And he did send me many, many, many messages. And it was incredible. And it makes me, not look forward to somebody dying, but not fearful, very accepting of death as just another form that the soul goes somewhere else. And it helps me a lot. And this was wonderful. You were just absolutely incredibly awesome. And I have one question, and I don't want to take up, if anybody has something else to say, I don't want to take up the time. I know it's late. It's hard to grasp how easy it is to do a little mitzvah and to have such impact. The hardest thing that I find is not to keep working and doing, to step back, like let go and let God create whatever it is he's going to create. And that's a very difficult thing for me to do. And I don't know if anybody else has that hard time.
But you said you stopped worrying.
I did stop worrying. I did stop worrying.
So you got better at it.
Oh, yeah.
Letting God.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Good.
definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I think that we came across some beautiful ideas here tonight. Really challenging our perception of common day experiences. As a society, as a community, we've really been shaken, and we're very fortunate here in Palm Beach Gardens, Baruch Hashem, to really have been pretty safe from the virus for the most part. But our world has certainly been shaken, and we've come to all face our mortality in a far more urgent sense than we would have liked to have these ideas in this presentation about life and death, and about the important things in life, and the importance of the little things in life is really a beautiful way to put things into perspective and help us emerge from this quarantine stronger, more better rounded, more focused individuals, more conscious individuals that are able to live lives that are more meaningful. So I want to thank you so very, very much, Rabbi Manis. It was really very special having you here. As soon as we realized we had the opportunity to bring you virtually, we seized the opportunity. It took a while to book you, but I'm glad that we were able to do this. And I thank you very, very, very much for your time. If you could just give us a closing comment before we let you go, please.
I just hope that we don't fall back into those comfortable old habits.
I was thinking the same thing.
We're entering a much improved world, and we have to appreciate that and not go back to the old habits. The new world deserves better. So buckle up and watch the world cleanse itself. It's an amazing thing. But it could be confusing, it could be scary if you don't keep your eye on the goal. We're getting better.
We're getting better, and we're coming close to Mashiach.
That's
A little
it.
concerning the way you said that the bad is going to be more scary than we ever envisioned on the news. But God willing, as long as we keep our eye on the goal, Mashiach is coming. The bad, the evil is coming out of the closet. It's going to lose its entire identity, which is really but a shadow, like we learned this morning in Tanya. And God willing, the purpose of it all, the ultimate, is the coming of Mashiach, is when the light will shine throughout, when the darkness will dissipate, and we'll all be able to experience the fulfillment of our truest potential, as you said earlier. I want to thank you very, very much, Rabbi Manis. I want to just say to everybody that our next week's presentation is going to be taking place on Chabad.org with scholars in residence. Are going to be Chana and myself, as we're doing a presentation for Chabad.org with Chana Weisberg. We interviewed Chana Weisberg.
Turning the tables.
She's turning the tables on us. That's taking place Monday night, 8 p.m. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be after Yontiv, after Shavuos, on Chabad.org. Not our regular chat, but it's a whole different forum. And with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow we're having a very special presentation, also Chana and myself. It's taking place at 2:45 p.m. tomorrow on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. The world's greatest yeshiva is where Chana and I will be talking about unorthodox and the myths and misconceptions of observant Jewish life as portrayed on the big screen. That's tomorrow at 2:45 p.m. Facebook Live and YouTube Live. The link is all in the email. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Over and out. Laila Tov.
It was a pleasure. Chag
Thank
Sameach.
you. Thank you.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.